Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, barrel scraper. That's right. It's the off season, and this is Bachelor Nation News. And we have Elizabeth from this past season, Clayton's season of The Bachelor, comes out as bi. We're going to read her statement. That's right. She did lose followers. We'll get into all of that. This is the world we live in. But rather crack an egg to make an omelet. I always say it's better to lose a couple followers than to try to sort of win everybody over. So anyway, win me over. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals and also patreon.com/DaveNeal for private membership only content. Oh my gosh, have my eyes beseeched me? Is this old Dave from 6 years ago, March 1st?
I'm sorry, it was accidentally British. I don't know the difference. Nar.
Okay, so
That's all I can say in Australia. Nar.
Okay, so if you want to catch some riveting content, I'm actually going to be putting together some old school vintage Dave episodes when we hit 275 patrons on the Patreon. So if you want to see some funny and random moments from past seasons, which are private and you cannot see on YouTube, go join the Patreon, and when we hit 275 patrons, we'll do that. All right, so let's share Elizabeth. Here's what she says yesterday. Elizabeth Corrigan, you know, she's spoken about neurodiversity, ADHD, and now she's talking, and she's talked about weight. She's pretty much hit every sort of, and again, no, not saying this is wrong, but she said a lot of different categories. She's talked about body diversity or body dysmorphia, how she wasn't at an unhealthy weight. She talks about neurodiversity, ADHD. So now she's LGBTQI plus ADHD. She's getting all the letters in right here. It's hard to know the right way to say these things or the right time. Today seems like both and neither. Waking up this morning to my first Pride in New York City, I was so excited. I sprung out of bed, went to get a coffee, bought a flag, and quickly began feeling anxious. Overwhelmingly so. Am I ready? No. Am I scared? Yes. Will the right time come? Qualify it. It's important to me today to share with you all that I am queer. More specifically, I am, always have been, and always will be bisexual. If you know me personally, you probably know this. Every time I tell someone new the information, I experience fear. This new information, I experience fear. Fear that it will end a business transaction. Fear that I will make someone uncomfortable. Fear that I will ostracize my family, etc., etc., etc. What's more important to me at the end of the day is to be me, authentic, genuine, raw. So maybe one person will feel less alone. If you're that one, I've got you. I'm here. I'll answer. You are not alone. Hoping that one day the fear will turn to what it should be. Pride. Only love. All love. Today and each day to come. Moments matter. So that's what she posts. Olivia says, I am so stinking proud of you and love you to the moon. Pride. Tejuan, I love you, so proud. Cassidy, love you so much, you brave, gorgeous girl. Zachariality, yay, happy Pride, we love you. Descartes, oh my God, pride, pride, pride. Yes, yes, yes. And some people might go, wow, boy, geez, it feels like they're really jamming pride down our throat. You have to remember, we are only a few short decades, years, and moments away from Stonewall riots, from moments where people that were gay didn't have basic human rights. And in some cases, that still exists. And there's obviously people that want to turn back the time to laws where a man can't go into a hospital when his husband is dying because the court doesn't legally recognize them, right? You know what I mean? There's very horrible situations out there where people feel lesser than because of who they love. Love being the highest form of energy. And we don't tolerate that. We don't tolerate that whatsoever. So good on her. Good on her. Now, as we know, Becca Tilley came out of the closet. She was obviously in a relationship for, I believe, a few years. It was a well-known closet secret that she had, that she was in a relationship with, I can't remember her name, Haley Kiyoko, and they did just fine. But of course, you know, Becca's got over 1 million followers, and if you live in a world that Elizabeth's in, she doesn't have that kind of following to necessarily back her up. Why does that matter? Well, it just does. It matters in some ways because a lot, there's a lot of dependence on who, on building your following and building your brand and these things. So she's at 58.8 thousand followers. Let's go back here and see what she had written earlier. Crying, grateful, scared, here. Pride greater than fear. The followers I'm losing you right now. I've never been so happy to see you go. That's another way of saying bye. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. We don't have room for you. There she is crying. And then this is the show. She says she used to exclusively watch with headphones on and the door's locked, and that's the L word. And there she is, of course, again with Olivia, her friend, quick shout out to this incredible human who has held space for me since the moment she, since the moment they, all right, let's finish the caption here. Since the moment I arrived in New York. Your support, encouragement, and friendship has been a light in my life, and I'm so lucky to have you as an ally and a friend. Love you, live. Now, look, I'll be honest. I know we're all on the same page on this issue. If you are bigoted, you might not see it that way. You might just go, well, I just believe the Bible says a man and this, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Your views don't matter. They're aging out, okay? The world has changed. There aren't more gay people. There aren't more bisexual. There aren't more trans. People just feel more comfortable living their open, authentic life. And that's an important place to be in a country that's built on those that were seeking freedom from persecution. And while in some places we're going backwards and adding more religion and other sort of fear-based sentiments, not that religion's fear-based, but the people that twist religion can be. The people that say, well, if you look at Leviticus, it says, yeah, take your Leviticus, bend it sideways, and shove it up your hoo-ha, because nobody cares what Leviticus says. We care about spreading love. It's the Brooklyn way. Now, some people are going to live in fear, and that's something that I empathize with. Take Tia. She's pregnant. This is the last thing she wants to worry about. She's trying to build a baby. And, of course, Roe v. Wade happens. And yesterday or 2 days ago, she posts this 13-minute clip from a doctor. And she says this video is very informative and very terrifying as a pregnant woman in Tennessee. This is a criminal defense attorney explaining the overturning of Roe v. Wade from a physician's standpoint, which in turn affects us, the patients who expect the best possible care. But starting July 25th, our physicians are being put in the position to make decisions based on if they'll be prosecuted or not. And some say, how does this all correlate? Well, now, and people are posting stories already saying, wow, the laws are already taking effect. Someone comes in needing an emergency abortion, different surgery. Maybe she's already miscarried, but she's got sepsis or there's some sort of rupture. And then the doctor has to spend 7 hours with their lawyers finding out if they can do a procedure or not. Where it used to be like, just do what you need to do to try to save people. So she posts this. Good, Tia. That's great. You shared, she's from Arkansas or wherever the hell she's from, the Bible Belt. She shared this with her big following. And then 26 minutes later, I deleted everything except the video. My pregnant heart can't handle it. I can see both sides of the argument. What? What both sides? And I'm too empathic to be dead set on one or the other. Do your own research. That's the worst. Well, I did my own research, and I thought that January 6th couldn't have been, and if you start looking at the information, shut the hell up, Trisha. Form your own opinions from the facts. Be nice to people who may not agree with you. I hope to God I'm never in a life-threatening situation that may or may not be, quote-unquote, acceptable. So she went pure vague book. And essentially what happened here is she probably got a ton of DMs from people that are pro-life. And look, we already made this video, but, all I got to say is this. The people that are pro-choice, it's not necessarily just pro-abortion. It's the pro-choice to do what you want with your body, to make difficult decisions as you need be. We've talked already about this last week on Friday. We talked about how there's certain hospitals that are considered Christian, or maybe they're Christian funded, and they won't do an abortion of a partially, of a dead fetus. That didn't remove itself, and then the women can die of sepsis. And I had a nurse comment saying, you know what, Dave, actually, I had to look that up because that sounded ridiculous, and I thought you had your facts wrong. And she goes, you know what, that is true. That does happen. The majority of abortions are done by pills, weeks into a pregnancy. But if we don't have universal health care, if we aren't protecting people, then how can people aren't even going to the hospital in the first place because it's so expensive. They're not catching on if they do have a sort of accidental pregnancy or whatnot that could be handled with when there's just a cluster of cells. So obviously the problem that we have here is that the people that are pro-life, I think, are, for the most part, being governed by fear in these ideas that we're ripping babies out of the womb and peace. No, they use all these visuals that are meant to scare you and go, well, I don't want that. I don't want to be on that side, so I must be on this side. And whenever someone's trying to sell you something on fear, chances are you're being duped, you're being hoodwinked, and all that jazz. And that's the problem that I see happening. I think almost every single person I talk to, Really, every single in person, not some random person you're fighting with online. Because when you're fighting online, there's no middle ground. Everyone's just trying to win. But when you really talk to someone, a lot of people say this: I'm pro-life, but if someone else wants to do something with their body and the doctors agree or whatever, that's fine by me. But I'm pro-life, and my response to that is, no, Barbara, you're not pro-life. You're pro-choice. Okay? Pro-choice means you get to decide what you want to do, which means to keep a fetus and let it grow into a baby, or to abort said fetus because it's not the time, place, or other situations for that. So the general cliche trope where we say, oh, well, pro-life people, it's only pro-life till you give birth. It's a cliche because it's true. Because those same people in that same party vote against universal basic health care, which is very much more affordable than private insurance systems. Insurance companies spend a ton of money. We'll get it going, right? They spend a ton of money, right? Lobbying the politicians and also, public relations with their constituents to make you think that you love your insurance. You don't, Shannon. You don't love your insurance. It's more expensive than it would be if we had universal universal health care that cut, bumper taxes up a percentage point, and then rather than spending $12,000 a year, we spend $7,000 a year per person. It's cheaper to do that way. Then people can get the health care they need. We can be healthier, safer. That would be what pro-life should be, but it's not. So figure out what side you're on, Tia, and stick to it. Try to please everybody, and it's going to please nobody. Let me know what you guys think. We'll have more content coming your way. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everyone.